band. For your halftime entertainment, we celebrate the 43-year reign of the speed metal kings, Metallica. With 9 Grammy Awards and 14 nominations, 38 concert tours worldwide, and 11 studio albums that span 4 decades, the Titans of Thrash remain the standard by which all other metal is measured. We begin with a 1984 classic from their second album, For Whom the Bell Tolls, followed by the 1992 tour anthem, Wherever I May Roam. And then, let's turn down the house and light up the stage for the Auburn University Marching Band and their show, Metallica.
Wednesday evening has arrived once again, and that means it's time for Auburn Family Night. We got a lot to talk about and hear from you this evening, but the most important thing, you need to stay tuned right at the very beginning throughout the show, and at the end, we're going to talk about how you can get involved with our bracket contest. All that's coming up, your calls, your questions, your comments. It's all about you this evening. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching the show this evening. Let's get into it. War Eagle, everybody, and welcome back to another edition of E2C Network Live, where we get together, we sit down, and we talk about that Auburn experience. The Auburn experience to us is all about a few things: Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. An easier way to say it, if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. So thank you so much in joining us in what we're going to do this evening. And as you might expect, this evening, this Auburn Family Night, I have high suspicions, probably going to be confirmed here, will be focused on the madness, March Madness, Auburn's March Madness, all these different things that we could focus on within that. But there's plenty of things to talk about in the Auburn experience. But you get to pick the topics. You get to pick the questions, the discussion points, all that stuff. We'll take calls. All that's coming up this evening. We want to make sure that you do have a couple different things here. We're going to let you know about that bracket contest right at the start here, but do want to remind you to take advantage of our call-in link this evening. It's available in the top of the chat. It is not pinned to the top because the very top of the thing is something else that's pinned up there. That's on YouTube side of things. So if you're looking for the call-in link tonight, you might have to search a little bit, but please, or if you need me to put it back into the chat, please do let me know, and we'll get you on the line as best we can tonight. But first, let me give you this as you guys are saying hello, smashing that like button, getting the things going as you normally do for our Auburn Family Nights. Let me start off the show with this very important announcement. We are try to do math here, half a day essentially away from the start of March Madness, which means if you have not entered into our March Madness contest, you will miss out on an opportunity for a $50 e-gift card from our friends at Alumni Hall. You need to make sure that you are already signed up. If you don't have time tonight to finish your bracket, you still can do that. But go ahead and sign up right now. If you need to take a break from this stream, if you need to take a break from watching this replay, go do that right now. The link's in the top of the chat. It should be listed everywhere. If you can't find it, DM us. We'll get it to you. Do not miss this opportunity. The March Madness Bracket Contest brought to you by Alumni Hall and their $50 e-gift card they're giving out to the winner. It's not just an Auburn story. It's got everything out there. So we appreciate them participating with us this year and doing that. So we got that out at the start. We'll talk about it throughout the show, I'm sure, and we'll mention it this evening, but wanted to go ahead and have that out there in front of you guys so that you don't have any excuses. Every year I get told, I thought we had so much time, or, I thought we could do it by this, or I meant to do it, or I didn't fill out the bracket completely. You've been warned. You've been warned. All right. Let's get into it this evening. This is about you guys, what you want to discuss. I appreciate all of the people that are showing up here early and often. We've got a lot to talk about. I'm expecting maybe at least one or two callers tonight that told me they're going to call in. We'll see if they do. You guys can take care of the phone lines as well. Please do take advantage of that if you would like to do so this evening. It is open now. All right. Got lots of fine people already checking in and are excited for tomorrow. You have got Unbeaten Lake who says, my bracket is already busted. I feel like you're either joking, but if you're serious, how is your bracket already busted? You have until tomorrow to set it. So if Alabama State ruined it for you or whoever else ruined it for you, I'm sorry, but it surely shouldn't be busted already. Daniel says, I put in my bracket, I have a 7 seed in the Final Four. Wow. This is a year where you don't really see a ton of people, prognosticators, taking chances on anybody outside of the top one and top two, the one seeds and the 2 seeds, maybe a 3 here and there. I feel like every year you're going to see a bunch of brackets that have like a 5 in it or a 6, maybe something like that. This year, we're not really seeing that from a lot of the mainstays, the big talking heads out there, things like that. And I'm not blaming them. It's, it's probably the way things are going to go this evening. Of course, we all think that, and we're going to be mistaken. Unbeaten Lake says, I think we're fine tomorrow as long as Alabama State doesn't have that one player who cannot miss a 3-point shot. Well, it is the Auburn way to let them have their best game against us. So you just need to go and prepare yourself for that. Gone are the days. I said this on our TikTok stream a lot today. Gone are the days where you can just dismiss 16 seeds. We've had 2 of them in the most recent years. You need to be taking this seriously. A lot of you, when I say you, it's not anybody here necessarily, but I just see this around all over the place. People are talking about Auburn versus Louisville, Auburn versus Creighton. They all got to get there first, folks. Handle the games in front of you. Then we can start focusing on all of those storylines and things like that. You have got Alabama State, who's riding high right now, who's got a lot of motivation. You think they don't want to knock off the Auburn Tigers just down the road for them? Of course they do. I'm ready for it. Let's bring the smoke. Let's get this thing going. I'm pumped up. Let's see here. WT said he's got his bracket set. If tradition holds for me, it should be busted by Friday. Well, that's much longer than a lot of people. Most get busted on the first day. I think one year I made it to the first day of the second round with like 1 loss, maybe. Like it was my best year ever. And I was like, this is the year. And then it just went haywire after that. And then I've had years where I've had like a terrible first round, but then I had everybody who upset me didn't go very far in my bracket unless I had a much better bracket overall. We'll see. We'll see how it goes this year. Probably not going to go well for any of us. Devin, good to see you, says, War Eagle family, excited and terrified tomorrow, just life as a fan. Don't be terrified. Don't do it. Be excited. I know you are. Doing this encouragement because I think there's a lot of people out there that are terrified. Don't be terrified. Be excited. I am so happy that we're getting to play Alabama State. I am jammed up, jelly tight, ready to go for all these things. WT says, I never bet against Izzo, but I do think he wins more than 2 games this year. You do not think he wins more than 2 games this year. This South region, the South region could go anywhere. If we need to bring the bracket up, I can for you guys on screen. Let me know. But you guys said it was kind of small last time I did. So if that's not going to be helpful, if you missed our 2.5-hour show on Monday, you missed out on a lot of good times. We had a lot of good. We did a pick 'em. The group vote picked Auburn as the winner. I think we had Auburn, Florida, Duke, and Tennessee as our final 4 in that pick 'em. So it's not a very drastically wild one in any way, but we had fun doing it all the way. All right. I've seen some people asking. The call-in link is at the very top of the chat. I can't change it. I'm so sorry. Because we've got to keep that link for the bracket pick 'em up there for people to find throughout the stream. So if you need the call-in link, it is available at the top. I'll put it in here one more time for you guys. That StreamYard link, it is you can access it that way. Let's see here. Devin is not getting the message on Michigan State. I hear you on this, but you don't count out Tom Izzo. She's just trying to insert facts where there are no facts. Welcome. Don't count out Tom Izzo, because the second you do, he will take you down. Neil says that Auburn has nothing to be terrified of. I hope you're right, Neil. I hope you're right. I hope so. If Flag isn't 100%, then Duke is not winning it all. I do think Duke is drastically different without Cooper Flag. However, I don't think they are still a bad team without him. So I'm not necessarily going to write them off completely, but I will feel much better if we get to them in the championship game and he is not there. But I think he'll be fine by that point. Bryant, good to see you. Thanks for checking in early. Okay. You guys keep your comments, questions, topics coming. We got our first caller this evening. We'll go ahead and get him in and say hello, and then we'll round out with what you guys have been saying during all that time. What's going on, Kevin?
I'm ready for tomorrow.
You're ready for tomorrow. What's happening tomorrow? Anything?
Auburn first round basketball game.
Are you excited?
I'm pumped up.
I can
Pumped
tell
up,
you got
and
like energy oozing out of you right now.
And I think we will make it to the Final Four.
I think Auburn's got a good shot, a real good shot to make the Final Four. You would hope so as the top seed in the bracket, but we'll see.
It will be all the SEC teams in it.
So in the Final Four, you're saying?
Yeah.
You're saying, so that means that
Florida, Tennessee, Auburn, and Alabama.
Well, there's a lot of people who have predicted that, and you might be right. The SEC's been the best conference all year, so why wouldn't they fill out the Final Four all by themselves?
Who you think win the Player of the Year?
I think Janai should win it. But that's who I think should win it. But that doesn't mean that's who will vote it.
He got my vote.
Well, I'm not surprised at that in the least. I think, obviously, there's no question about Auburn fans thinking he should win it. I think there's a split in the media and stuff about that. Some people don't want to get off their high horse about Cooper Flagg because they predicted it so early in the year. But Janai, I think, is very deserving of that title and should be given it on all accords.
How many points he will go for tomorrow?
Well, I would say we need him to probably get up close to about 17, 18 points because we know that he's our most secure scorer right now. So if he does that, then I feel like we'll be in a good position to win the game tomorrow and throughout the thing. So I'm going to predict 17 points, 11 rebounds from Janai.
30.
You want 30?
Yeah.
Well, if he scores 30, I think we'll do just fine. Yeah. I mean, that would be half the points some teams actually score in this particular tournament, in a particular game. But I will say this, 17-11, you heard it here first for double-double for him in Alabama State game.
Hey, when does football practice start?
So, to my knowledge, there has been no official statement on that. However, what I will tell you, statement publicly, I get emails from the athletic department as a member of the media, and they are doing pro day. You remember what pro day is? Pro day is where the players get to show off for the NFL people. They're doing pro day next Monday, starting meetings next Monday. So I guess technically it would start on Monday, but practices will be Tuesday. So that is what was submitted to us. But we'll see if that holds true right now because I don't think they've been very public with when it's going to start quite yet.
I know when A-Day game, April.
We do know when that is, so at least we know something around the spring schedule. But that's we'll certainly start focusing on that a little bit more next week. Hopefully, we've still got basketball to talk about.
And I hope we beat Kentucky in baseball.
Yep. So isn't that cool? So Auburn's up in Lexington right now for this March Madness, but they're also playing baseball up right now. You couldn't ask for a better time to be an Auburn fan in the Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia region. It's really close for you to come have a great Auburn weekend. Go to the baseball games, go to the basketball games. I mean, you can't ask for much more right now.
And Auburn softball team's still doing good.
They're doing okay. Now, as we went live, they hit a grand slam to tie it up against the team they're playing tonight. I did see that, and we shared it out. I'm not sure what the update is. Maybe someone in the chat can give us a live update of that, how that's going right now. SEC's been pretty tough on them, but they had a great start to the year, and it's still the first year for the Malvos, so no worries on my end.
Yeah, they should do real good against Texas this Friday.
That's who Texas is up next for SEC softball or for Auburn softball?
Yeah.
Okay, I hadn't looked that far in the schedule, but that's going to be tough.
Texas is number 2.
Yeah, it's going to be. So I don't know if they'll do too well, but we'll see. That would be a nice way to bounce back from what they've started in the SEC, but that's going to be a tall task to do it. Well, how about Kevin? How about this? Give me, I always ask for these from you before we round out our time together. I gave you my prediction for tomorrow. What do you think? What's your final score prediction for Auburn, Alabama State?
Auburn 95 and Alabama State 65.
95-65, so a 30-point differential, which is funny because right now earlier today the line was 32.5. So you're saying they're going to score under that, or the margin of victory will be under that. So we'll see. But
Yeah.
95-65, you heard it here first, folks, from Mr. Kevin. We'll see if he's right on the post-game show tomorrow. If we win by that much, I'll be feeling pretty good on that post-game show. So I hope you're right. All right, we'll see you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye. See you later. Thanks for calling in. All right, we got another caller in line. We'll get him in just a second here. Let's take a look back at the chat and see what we've got going on. Missed a couple things while we were in there. This is from Unbeaten Lake. I think Virginia in 2018 was just asking to get upset. Extremely strong defense while averaging a little over 50 points a game. UMBC couldn't miss, and Virginia couldn't keep up. So that was like the perfect storm for that 16 seed to be the first one. But shortly after that came another one. The recent, years came and did another 16 upsetting a one. Neil thinks it would be amazing for an all SEC Final Four. Could you imagine all of the eye rolling that'll happen around all of college athletics if they have to listen to SEC the entire time? Let's see. What else were you guys saying while we talked to Kevin? This is from Unbeaten Lake again. I hope this is the year we win it all. It will probably take Bruce about 2 years to rebuild, depending on who's coming back. Depends on who he picks up in that transfer portal to go alongside, who he's bringing in, who he's keeping. A lot of big topics to talk about, but not really to worry about until after we're done with this particular game. WT says, I'm not an SEC homer, but I am hoping in the first round they all win. Otherwise, I feel it diminishes what we accomplished this year by all our wins. Let me just say this, WT. What you are saying is honest, logically correct, and the way we should all think about things. But let me tell you the way I think about this. I don't give a flying flip. I want every SEC team other than Auburn to lose every minute. Does that diminish what we did this year? Sure. Does that in some ways hurt the perspective of Auburn? Sure. I know it's not logical for me to think that. It's just the way I feel. It's just the way I think. So not an SEC homer. In the same sense, I am proud of what the SEC has accomplished in this historic season. That's why we put that clip of the podcast out today talking about that. But I ain't worried about. I could give a flying flip if they all won or not. I want them to lose, and Auburn's path be the soul of the SEC when everything's done. Okay, let's get our next caller in, and we'll go ahead and get, if anybody else wants to get in line behind that, you certainly can do it. It's one of our a first timer here. We'll get him on and see how this goes. Mr. Daniel, what's going on, sir?
Good. How you doing?
How you doing today, sir? Now I'm guessing,
Good.
are you Yak on TikTok?
I am.
There we go. I had a feeling we would hear from you. How you doing?
Good, man. Good.
What's on your mind tonight?
Oh, just talking about like the tomorrow's game. I'm not too worried about Auburn against Alabama State because, like I said earlier, it's their bigs. Alabama State does not have the same bigs that like Florida has, Tennessee has, Alabama has, or Duke. The teams that Auburn really struggled in. I mean, I know Auburn struggled against lost to Texas A&M, but that was also with them not having their starting guard, with Denver Jones being out of the lineup on the road also, which tomorrow they'll have more of a neutral home court advantage style thing.
So it's the bigs that are the key for you, and I like the way that you broke that down as I kind of talked with you about on the TikTok live today, what your reasoning behind that, because not a lot of people think through some of the things that we just say out there. So it was nice to see that you had thought through some of that. Have you looked to see, not that height really matters, have you looked to see what's their tallest guy on Alabama State at all?
I think their tallest starter is, I want to say 6'10" or 6'9", something like that. But last night watching the game, I watched the game last night, and I noticed that Alabama took a lot of threes, and they went down. I don't know. I think they was down by 12 or 10 at one point and made it come back. and they didn't start shooting fouls till I think they got their first free throw with 10, 12 minutes to go in the game or something like that. Which
Mhm.
that's been something else Auburn does is they're very aggressive. So they're very aggressive. So they do get more fouls called on them than other teams because of how aggressive they are when they're attacking the ball, when they're attacking other players,
Yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that.
I think I would tend to agree with you about the bigs being better than, or at least the way you phrased it, than Alabama State. The problem for me comes what we've seen a lot happen is some of our big guys getting into foul trouble quickly, whether right or wrong or anything like Dylan's been in foul trouble a lot, and sometimes it's been very questionable why he's been in that foul trouble. So I really hope we don't start out with two quick fouls on Chaney, two quick fouls on Janai. That could really mess up the flow of the game. And it kind of, I mean, obviously we think back to, let's say it for the Bama fans, Yale. That's kind of what started that downfall last time when Chad got his issue. There were some other fouls called. There was a lot of frustrations. The flow was done. So the bigs may very well be better for Auburn than Alabama State. But if they're removed from that situation a little too early, maybe it gets a little dicey. I don't know.
Auburn could play against Alabama State using four guards and one forward. They wouldn't necessarily have to have a big like Janai Broom,
Yeah.
Dylan Cardwell, or Chaney. I would say Chaney Johnson. They'd have to keep him in there, or just they could get away with just one big if they have to against Alabama State. Now I don't, what happens tomorrow and going into Saturday. It'll be a different story with whoever they play against Louisville or Creighton, whatever that is, because Louisville, I think, Louisville should not have been an 8 seed. I think they should have been seeded higher, maybe a 5 or a 4 seed at least for Louisville. So I think they got seeded differently, and they're 45 minutes away from Lexington.
Hmm.
So I mean, they might have a little bit of home court advantage Friday or Saturday, tomorrow or yeah, tomorrow Saturday. So we'll just see how that goes.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if we get there, they get there, what the comparison looks like, because you've got the ease of travel for Louisville, but you've got the way Auburn traditionally
Yeah,
travels.
yeah.
And
Auburn is real big. That's why the South, having the South, being in the South region was big for Auburn going to making the Elite Eight run or something like that because of just being once what is it after the 32, then they go to the
Atlanta.
Sweet 16 and the Elite Eight is in Atlanta.
Yep, not
And
far from where I am.
hold on, who else had? Oh, yes, I was telling you about my 7 seed. I think Kansas is an underrated team. I think Kansas will have probably the best run in like as far as being an underdog and making it the farthest. Because Kansas played a lot of good games, a lot of close games this year. They just
Mhm.
ended out on the wrong side of that.
Yeah. My sister-in-law would be very happy with you saying that. She is an Auburn fan, but she was born and raised a Kansas fan, and she's been a little bit down on her Jayhawks this year. Hunter Dickinson is a great player, and
Yes, he is the big that's going. I think he's going to be the main reason why Kansas makes this run. Now, of course, you can say if players stay healthy and stuff like this, like with Cooper Flag is
right.
like, is he healthy? But you can't base your prediction off if a team's going to stay healthy and stuff
Right.
like that. And that's why
Yes.
I feel like Auburn this year, compared to last year, everybody talks about Yale and, Chad Baker Mazar going out early, but Auburn didn't have the depth that they had this year at the guard position, with Janai Broom, just they didn't have it like they had. Who they get this year? They got Miles Kelly, um, and Tahad Pettiford are two good guards, and Denver Jones is playing really great defense against teams that like Alabama. He Denver Jones is, I think, if Auburn makes a long run, deep run this year, it's going to have to come down to Denver Jones and how he plays his defense
Hmm.
because we know he
Yeah.
can shoot.
Yeah.
That's not going to be the problem. We know they can shoot, and the two issues I've seen with Auburn, especially here is late, is they're giving up a lot of offensive rebounds instead of them actually getting rebounds. I think even against Ole Miss out rebound them on the offensive board. So Auburn's got to stop that and get better at the free throws. Close
Hmm.
games are won and lost at the free throw line.
Well, I don't know if you've ever watched any of our post game shows, but you're right up my alley. That's my big three. You left one off, but you may have gotten there. Rebounds, free throws, and turnovers. Those are my big three that I emphasize every game.
The biggest thing on rebounds though is not like defensive rebounds, yeah, but like allow like if you don't get the offensive rebound, that's fine. But if a team shoots 33% and they're getting 2 rebounds per possession, then they're scoring every
They're
time
going
they
to
go
score.
down the
Yeah.
court. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're going down. So the Auburn's got to limit that, and that's going to be something against as they go down if they do get to play Michigan State, because I think I do have Auburn and Michigan State playing, and Auburn winning against Michigan State again because of their depth and their play from Janai Breen. I mean, it ain't a fluke that Janai Breen is is the player of the year, you know, or
Yeah.
the SEC Player of the Year, and definitely one of the top two. And talking about the SEC, there's a chance that the SEC could have all Elite Eight teams.
It is a chance.
There's
I
like
saw that.
an elite, like saying, oh yeah, they all make it to the Final Four, but they could all be in the Elite Eight.
There
And I
better
did,
not be any other discussion about the SEC being overrated if that happens.
and that's another thing. You're talking about look at what the SEC teams did before conference play. Like Oklahoma was undefeated before they started conference play, and then I want to say they went 8 and 10, 9 and something like that
Yeah.
in conference play. So, and every other team, I don't think a single team started the conference play with more than 3 losses. I want to say LSU had 3 losses coming in conference play, and that
Yeah.
was it.
Yeah. It's
And I think
wild
they
that
need to
go ahead.
go ahead.
I
I
was
think
just
they
saying
need to
it's
get
just
rid of the
wild that
conference tournament.
there's two teams that didn't make it, and that's all like
Yeah,
that 14 out of 16 made it. That's wild.
that is wild. I mean, Texas and Xavier's playing right now, and I have Texas winning. I think I got Texas beating Xavier tonight and beating Illinois. I think Texas is good enough with Trey Johnson that they can make a deep run. Trey Johnson is a great guard and definitely one of the better freshmen in the SEC. Him and
Yep.
Georgia's
Yeah, and I think
forward.
if you kind of what you're talking about here, I'll add on to this. You got so many great teams in the SEC, but here's where the difference starts happening with your Auburns, your Alabamas, your Tennessees, and your Floridas. You've got these great players on some of the lower tiered best of the SEC. You talk about Trey Johnson,
Yeah.
Texas. That's all you talk. I mean, but that's who people fears in Oklahoma.
Yep.
That's the two that come to mind off top. So that's the
The
difference is right now they've
Georgia
got.
forward.
Yep.
No.
Yes. Asa
Yeah.
Martin, or not Asa Martin.
No. Newell. Is it Newell?
Newell, Asa
Asa?
Newell.
Yeah.
I went with an
And
Auburn player.
Georgia swept. I want to say Georgia swept Florida in the regular season this year.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I mean, Florida's.
Wait.
Everybody's got Florida. I think so. I think Florida or Georgia beat them both times this year.
Maybe so.
So everybody's got is on that Florida thing, and I think Florida's great because that's why they could beat Auburn because of their big guys,
Yeah.
and they're getting pretty good guard play as far as shooting, knocking down threes and stuff like that.
Oh, man.
Alabama, I'm not stressing about Alabama. I mean, I know Auburn lost to Alabama the last game, but they just don't play any. They don't have a defense. Like they're just hoping they score within the first 10 seconds of the shot clock.
Run and gun, run and gun. That's their
That's
MO.
it.
It's very similar to what Auburn was early in the Bruce tenure, but we've gotten a little bit deeper, a little bit stronger, a little bit more thoroughbred throughout all of what we do. Let me round out your call with a prediction for tomorrow. You got a score prediction for me? Auburn versus Alabama State?
I'm
Line
actually.
is
I
32
think.
and a half.
Yeah, I know that. I'm gonna say 93 to 56. Yeah, I think so.
93-56. Ooh,
And I think it's
that's
gonna be in this. I think Auburn's gonna shut them out the second half, and they're gonna sit a lot of their players midway through the fourth or
I hope you're
midway through the
right.
second.
I hope you're right. I could use I think we all could use a big confidence builder in this team to start off. And maybe this is just what the doctor ordered, taking them seriously, but let's take care of
Yeah,
business out there.
that's it. Just take them seriously. Do the game plan. Play the game plan, regardless of what the score comes out. As long as you're doing what the coach wants you to do, you win the game. That's all that matters, regardless of what the score is. As long as you benefit, whatever you come out of tomorrow, you can
Yeah.
take into Saturday.
Well said. Great call, Daniel. Thanks for calling in. And we'd
All
love for you to do it more in the future.
right, I will.
All right. Thanks, man.
Bye.
Bye. Awesome. Great to hear from Daniel tonight. You guys can take advantage of the call-in link as well. It's open again if you'd like to do so. It's very easy. Normally, it's at the very top of the YouTube chat. You can find it up there. You just got to go search it. It's not pinned to the top. What's pinned up to the top there is, once again, if you have not done so already, I know I'm a broken record. I'm going to be a broken record until we get to 12:15 Eastern time and the games start, our March Madness Bracket Challenge, $50 e-gift card. If you have not signed up, just go ahead and do that real quick. Links up there at the top of the chat. Sign yourself up, your friends up, your family up. Get them in there. Increases your chance to maybe ask them for a part of the prizes so one of your friends or family wins. That's there for you as well. But you can call in if you'd like. If you need me to put the link in the chat, I can, but it's all the way up at the top. Oh, I almost lost my voice there. Still battling some of those elements of the cold that hit me 2 weeks ago. All right. Give me some more comments, questions, topics that you'd like to hit in the chat. Let's hit those while we wait to see if anybody else will call in tonight. Don't be shy. Tonight's the night. Get it all out. Last-minute predictions on the tournament, on Auburn, all that good stuff. Looking back through some of your comments while we've been talking to some viewers here, let's see. WT says, why is everyone so worried about playing Louisville in Lexington? Does everybody forget when we beat Houston in similar fashion? We actually lost, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, we beat Iowa, lost to Houston. But you're equating the home court advantage we had because of being in Birmingham compared to Houston. And that is a very fair comparison. I think there's been a collective fear-mongering amongst the Auburn faithful because they got so rocked by the last 3 to 4 games and didn't have them all spread out like most teams this year, that they're looking for a reason to to believe, to build into that fear. It's a legitimate thing. If Louisville, packs that thing out like they're capable of, it should be easy to. If they don't, it's going to be embarrassing on their part. It could certainly be an advantage for them. Let's see here. It's honestly going to be weird to play a team that isn't top tier. Ooh, champion, settle down now. If that's what you're talking about, Alabama State. Those are things we don't need to be saying until it's done. I know we've asked for some score predictions from some of our viewers tonight, and they've given them to us. But Devin says we beat Houston. Are we certain on that? I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I'm thinking about the tournament, and I think you're confused, Devin. Devin's always quick to correct me. I'm talking about in the tournament in Birmingham. We didn't beat Houston unless I have crawled under a rock and forgotten that. We beat Iowa, and then we lost to Houston this year. Yes, we beat Houston. If that is to clarify what I was talking about there. There you go. Daniel even said it. We beat Houston this season. I think he was clarifying. That may not have been clear. I was talking about the season before that. Aubrey Champion. Aubrey Champion's one of the guys who watches TikTok a lot. So good to see you. Daniel is also from TikTok. We've had a lot of good folks come on over to this year to us from the TikTok. So we're glad to have y'all over here. Glad to have you over there as well. But, please don't be strangers over here too. We'd love to see you guys over here more often. It's a good crowd. So we must have gotten our wires crossed, or I got the wires crossed on that. I was talking about the tournament. I had Houston in the Birmingham situation in my head. So that happens with me trying to keep everything together here on the broadcast. Let's see here. This is more like the game we just played against Tennessee in Nashville. Pretty much the same exact situation. Yeah, I guess. Do we ever get some numbers from the situation there, like how many Auburn fans were there versus how many Tennessee fans were there? I mean, I know it was a good crowd for Tennessee. It should be. It's kind of like I was saying with Louisville. If that becomes to reality, it's going to be really embarrassing if Auburn outdoes them in terms of fan support there. There's no way it happens, right? I don't think it does. But if Tennessee got outdone by Auburn in the SEC tournament, that would be very embarrassing for them. Auburn travels well. That's the main important thing. Daniel asks, are you doing a post-game live tomorrow? Yes, post-game will be for every single game until they're done playing. Now, let me talk it's a great opportunity to mention this. Maybe we can do it this way as opposed to at the end of the thing. I always have the little cue cards ready for you guys. So obviously post game tomorrow for the Alabama State game. If you guys want to tune into that, it'll be right here live, right as soon as it ends. And we'll have a fun conversation, hopefully a conversation that's with victory. Yeah, I'm just building the caution there just in case. Now, what happens after that if Auburn wins? Who plays after that? Is it Louisville? Is it Creighton? We'll see. One of these two will be playing Auburn. Ooh, it's flipping back and forth. There we go. One of these two will be the options. We will be doing those post-game streams if Auburn makes it that far. Right after them. Man, today I've had a lingering kind of like cough since I was sick 2 weeks ago, and it's affecting me a little bit tonight. I don't know why. So yes, post game shows, and we'll be doing that. Now, let me talk a little bit of future stuff with you guys. I have plans, and I'm making plans to go to at least one of the Atlanta games if they make it to the Sweet 16 Elite Eight. Right now, I'm only planning on the Sweet 16 because that may be all I can afford by the time those prices are there. But we'll see, right? We'll see if I can afford to go to the Elite Eight if they were to win the Sweet 16. Those post-game shows will be a little bit delayed because I don't know what the internet will be like in there. I don't know how much they would appreciate me doing a long-form broadcast from in the seats in there. You never know, though, right? It'll maybe from the mobile broadcast studio, aka the back of my car. Or I may wait to get back home and do it from studio. There's a lot at play next week if we get there. That could change, but this week you don't have to worry. All right, we got some more stuff coming in here. Terry on Facebook, good to see you, Terry. Terry's very prominent in the excuse me. Terry is very prominent in the Auburn basketball group if you've not joined that there, so check that out. Wonder if Louisville fans will be happy with their coach hire and not going all in on Bruce. Never thought Bruce would leave AU anyway. Was Louisville a legitimate suitor? In my mind, according to Jackie Pearl, there was never an opportunity. There was never an option that he was going to leave. Now, obviously, things can change. Certain amounts of money and opportunities. And nice to know that it seems like Indiana is going to get figured out because that's the one that always gets thrown in Auburn fans' face. That they're going to come steal Bruce from us. And I mean, I wouldn't blame Bruce, but I'm glad to know that he stayed here thus far. Aubrey says Creighton and Louisville play before us, so we will know before our game even starts. It's a great point. I knew that coming into this, but I had to have both of those ready for right now. For to remind you guys, it could be one or the other. Creighton or Louisville, we will know. Isn't that kind of nice? Part of me loves this and hates this, that the Auburn game and the important game for Auburn, should they beat Alabama State, are all going to be wrapped up in the first few hours of March Madness. Then you can just settle in for the rest of the day and enjoy the madness forever. That'll be good. It is a nice way. It's a great matchup to kickstart everything. Daniel says, looks like the SEC is going to start the tournament off 1-0 in the first 4. Are they destroying Texas right now? Kyle, kick in that sweet Uber money you earn, and you can go to the basketball games. Yeah, that's not a reality. It's not. I've often thought that I should do that as a little side gig, but I don't know that I want to risk that, especially if I had to pick up some Alabama fans along the way. WT says, yes, Kyle, that was a big rumor that ESPN was trying to drum up Bruce to Louisville. Was that this year or was that last year? Or is it still? I guess that I'm just disconnected from all of that. Bruce still wants to be in Tennessee, according to Tennessee fans. That's funny. That is very, very funny. This is from Aubrey Champion. Playing on Thursday, Saturday is way better than playing on Friday, Sunday. I think from from your personal fandom, right? Your personal fandom, yeah, I can see that. But I kind of like having that first day to not have to worry about anything. The first day of the Madness, just to really soak it all in. So when Auburn played on Friday, Sunday, in previous ones, I was like, oh, this is pretty good. You can wait till that happens. I'm just happy that we're playing so early so we can kind of get that one done over with and enjoy the rest of the first 2 days of the first 2 rounds. Michael says, good evening, Auburn people. Tomorrow is the day. It is the day tomorrow. Hope you're excited. We all are too here. WT clarifies, says it was in the past. And I feel like I remember that now that we've talked about it a little bit. Terry says everyone is talking about Louisville, but the U of L better focus on Creighton. I'm not dismissing either team. I'm not dismissing Alabama State. I'm not dismissing Creighton or Louisville from any part of this equation. I think people want the Louisville matchup because the general public, not just saying like Auburn fans, because they want to have that dynamic there of having Auburn having to fend off that crowd that would likely arise. But Creighton's got Kalkbrenner. They're traditionally a great program, got a lot of history, got a lot of success. So we'll see. We'll see. Daniel wants to see Calipari versus Patino. Well, you're getting it. No, you would get in the second round, right? Because wait a minute, let me think about this. Because it's Arkansas and Bill Self, Kansas in the first round, and then yes, it would be Patino, St. John's, and Calipari and Arkansas in the second round. If I've got y'all can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think I've got that right. That would be a fun one. There you go. Do you think Texas regrets firing their coach that ended up at Tennessee? Did he get fired or did he just leave? Was it a firing? Yeah, I guess it was a firing. Maybe. I mean, they took a chance on. Here's the thing: people can like make fun of Texas for firing Nick or whatever, Rick Barnes not working out, and then giving Shaka Smart a chance because that's the sequence, right? Shaka Smart came after that. And you would say, well, he didn't work out there, but look what he's doing at Marquette. So he's obviously a great coach. And we knew that he was coming in. It just didn't work out at Texas. I don't know. I don't know if I would regret it that much. Kansas to the Final Four. Ooh. I remember you saying that, but that's a tough sell for me. That's a tough sell. I think the Barnes firing shows why you don't do a knee-jerk firing for a bad season or two. Amen, brother. Amen. Might be able to correlate that to a recent Auburn firing. Yeah. I don't have any updates on the women's basketball coach or anything. I think that's kind of slowed down. I'm curious if there are, well, I'm certain candidates are playing right now. Participating, I should say, maybe not playing their games actively in the women's NCAA tournament. Well, we'll see. I'm sure once that starts getting the trees get shaken on there a little bit, we'll start finding out who's going to be that. I hate that Coach Johnny Harris wasn't able to finish out here at Auburn. Let's see. Oh, I was thinking about this for Gus. Yeah, I was thinking about it, but the point's been made. Just I don't need to say it because it's already true. Think about Clemson. This is from Unbeaten Lake. They keep losing their coaches like Rick Barnes and Cliff Ellis back to back and are trying their best not to lose Brad Brownell. Well, I am not informed enough on Clemson to speak on that. I guess, if I remember correctly, Cliff came from Clemson. It's another reason to think about. Listen, I think the whole somebody saying I'm little brother, big brother is one of the weakest fan comebacks that you can do. I think if that's what you got, then sure, go ahead if that makes you feel better. So, but if there is a dynamic that can be big brother, little brother, Auburn and Clemson is that. They literally exist because of us. Our people went and founded them. That is why their colors are the same, or not the same, are similar. That's why their architecture is very similar. It's why it's called Auburn with a Lake. That's why they have a tiger. That's why John Heisman went there. I mean, it is literally a little brother situation. But I don't consider it that way. I don't think about it that way. But if you want to play into that narrative, you could with like stealing a coach like that or something like that. Anyway, I hope Cliff Ellis is enjoying watching his former team here at Auburn and Clemson, if we got all that correct, doing well. I feel like Cliff is one of those guys who really enjoys watching his former teams do well in those programs and doesn't hold a lot of bad blood or have a lot of bad blood with a lot of teams. That's one of my favorite things about Auburn. By and large, you see the guys that get fired have a decent relationship, if not a very productive relationship, post firing once a certain amount of time has passed. Now, there are certain people that probably won't ever have a good relationship. Brian Harsin, Sonny Galloway, Tony Barbee. I'm trying to think of there's a certain others program that doesn't get talked about a whole lot where something happened, but I think it was more on their end. That one probably won't be a good relationship down the line. But I like that we have that dynamic with some of our people. Anyway, all right, we're at 46 minutes in the stream already. We've got a few more minutes here tonight. We try to get it done in about an hour, but if we've got good questions and commentary coming in, we'll keep going. Please take advantage of the call-in link tonight. I'll put it in the chat one more time so that you can find it. And I'd love to hear some of our people we haven't heard from in a while or new faces. Aubrey, you're new here. Sorry to call you out, but give it a shot. Daniel did it tonight, and it was painless. I think a lot of people, and we've talked about this a lot on the broadcast over the years, it's very intimidating to try it. You don't have to be on camera. You can be off camera. No one's going to think any worse of you, but it certainly is a choice that you have to do that or not. But give it a try if you'd like to. We've got a few more minutes left here on the show. So we'll leave that open for now. WT says, I'm really hoping for a St. Mary's and UA game. Alabama game. It would be great to see ultra slow down team with a fast break team. Remember, Alabama tried to slow down the fast-paced Loyola Marymount team. I have heard a lot of people talk about this narrative, WT, and it would be very interesting to see that. Although, isn't it Vanderbilt? No, it's not Vanderbilt. Who's the other team that could come out and play Alabama out of that one? I haven't memorized the whole thing yet. The SEC is recommending to the NCAA that Pat Adams call our game for the rest of the tournament to tank us. Is Devin still here? Devin, I don't know if you're still here. Devin, I want to give you some credit. I did not take BYU seriously enough. I am starting to now. The problem is they're with VCU, and right there. Let me just pull this up for a second. We haven't done it all stream, so I'm going to pull this out. If you get a call in, we'll bring it back up. Let's try this. Bringing up the bracket for everybody. Hopefully, I'll be able to see it. There we go. It's okay. Let me make it a little. Well, that doesn't really make it that much better. Okay. I'm looking. Did you guys clarify? Yeah. So Devin, thank you. I was not taking BYU seriously enough, and but here's the problem. And did we say it was VCU? I can't tell on this one. It's a little bit small. Let me just go over here. But you guys can at least on my screen. It's a little bit small. I don't know what it looks like on y'all's screen. Let's go and find out. Sorry. Should have had this pulled up. I knew I was going to look at it. In case you're wondering, on our ESPN app where we're playing the bracket contest, the percentages now are more still in Duke's favor to win it, 25.2%, 21.4% for Florida, and now 10.7% for Auburn. Those are the top three most picked champions of all the brackets thus far. Let me pull the one I'm working on up. Oh, no, excuse me. I just coughed right into that microphone. I'm so sorry. Yeah, BYU, VCU. So I really like that VCU pick. I'm struggling with whether I'm going to trust you completely and move them to. I think if I pick BYU, I'm going to have them beating Bama and going to the Elite Eight. If VCU, if I pick them, I will have them probably losing at most in the Sweet 16. So I'm struggling with that one a little bit. You've used StreamYard before using kayak tournaments? Interesting. Very interesting. Let's see what else here we've got in the chat. Jay says, I have a calendar block on my schedule tomorrow for the game. The question, should I turn the light off in the office to prevent disruption or just leave it on and ignore all that knocking? Well, you pick your poison. I will not tell you what you should or shouldn't do, but I'm happy that you've at least got it set for your personal thing. Reese says, when do you think Auburn will start having trouble or harder competition in the tournament before or after the Sweet 16? You're dismissing Alabama State? You shouldn't. You shouldn't. This entire there was a metric that was produced on CBS on the selection Sunday afternoon, evening that showed the who had the toughest region by that metric that they were producing, and Auburn had the toughest one. I believe that. I saw it getting revealed, and I was like, how did we get the advantage of being the top seed? Because there's no advantage here. It gets tough the second they enter the tournament. If you want to dismiss Alabama State, certainly the second round is very tough as well. Jay's asking for everybody's strategy. Is this for the tournament, for the bracket? Yeah, if you guys have anything, you can certainly share that with him. Florida doesn't make the Final Four. I know they won the SEC tournament, but look what happened to the SEC tournament champion last year. I have seen a lot more people than I thought picking St. John's over that. We'll see if it happens. I kind of would love that, to be honest with you. WT says, no strategy. When I was married, I would have my wife pick a bracket, and she picked, depending on mascot, she always beat me. So when I had people would say a real job, a daytime job, and I was just trying to put this together on the side. I would lead the office, essentially, bracket things, and I would get everybody printed off, make sure they fill it out, and post it. We would post it on like the little board in our office room throughout the March Madness. And I had one girl one year that asked me, just tell me the mascot of each one of these teams, and I'm going to pick it off mascot. And ironically, she didn't do that bad. It could have been much, much worse. Reese. I saw this come through. Sorry, I'm going to pick on you in love a little bit, and Devin's already called you out. Reese. I think we can tell you haven't been watching much March Madness, buddy. It's only been the talk of the last, 7 years, y'all said, that it took all the years of this tournament and a 16 never beat a seed, and then it happened, and it happened twice. Love you, Reese. But this is why I hope he was being sarcastic. Y'all have to remember, it's hard for me to pick up on what's being sarcastic sometimes, but I saw that come through. I was like, oh no, I hope he doesn't mean it. All right, I'm going to pull the bracket back out here. We'll reinsert this back into the still getting used to switching around on things here. All right, if anybody wants to call, now's the time to do it. Yeah, let's see. I swear I thought it never happened. Okay, so listen, he wasn't being sarcastic. Last time I ever trust TikTok. Who on TikTok that's making basketball content told you a 16 seed has never beaten a 1 seed? That's only the best thing that's ever happened. You need to stop watching them today. Don't trust TikTok. All right, let's see here. Daniel says, my 7-year-old won our families last year. He won a pack of Own It football cards. Well, there you go. You can win $50, a $50 e-gift card by signing up for our bracket challenge. Sign it up there. In fact, let's go ahead and do that real quick. We got about 5 minutes left in our regularly scheduled time. I will leave the phone line open for that limited amount of time, so do it now if you want to. But let's run through some stuff real quick here at the end of the show. We'll take some comments and questions to round out our conversation. If you have not, as soon as we're done here, click the link at the top of the chat. It is pinned up there, and sign up for the bracket contest. Do me a favor. Get your friends, your family signed up for it. It's a huge help to us. Alumni Hall is our surprise sponsor this year with their $50 e-gift card. Don't worry if you're not an Auburn fan. There's other stores out there for other fandoms as well in the Alumni Hall family. And you use this online, so it's easy to use. So please do support them by supporting us in this contest. We'd love to see a great crowd. We've got a great crowd assembled, but sign up. You have until 12:15 Eastern time to get your bracket set. Do not hesitate. Do not waste your time. Get it done now, and then I'll shut up about it. Oops, sorry. I pulled the wrong thing up over here. Post-game show tomorrow, Auburn versus Alabama State. We already talked about it. We'll be doing that. And either Louisville or Creighton. If Auburn wins, and whoever wins of these two, we will do a post-game show. We will also have the Auburn Experience live broadcast on Sunday night at 9 Eastern time to talk about sports, culture, family. It's our main show of everything we do here. We hope to see you all there in the chat as well. Okay. Let's see here. So this is a great point from Devin. Sorry, I thought I'd pulled this down already. I wanted to bring this up. Sarcasm doesn't work a lot in the chat unless you spend your entire time being sarcastic like WT. Then I just know that to take everything as sarcasm. Excuse me. He says, I'm in the process of unfollowing them right now. Yeah, you don't need to follow that person anymore. They either don't know what they're talking about or they set you up for failure, like on purpose. The first time I've joined one of the YouTube lives, and I just embarrassed myself. You're all good, man. We're good. We're just having fun, having a good time together. I got stuff wrong earlier than this. That's why I said it's all in fun here. We're not going to embarrass you too much, but we are going to have a little fun at your expense from time to time. Let's see here. Devin says my son filled out the bracket yesterday. Predictably, if I could talk, he has BYU versus Auburn in the final, with Auburn winning it all. Well, there you go. Daniel says I may be able to jump back on tomorrow, but it depends on the time y'all start. It depends on the game, because I'll have it set and ready to run. It's set for like 5:15 right now, because here's what's going to happen. Our game is scheduled to start at 2:50. The game's going to go long. That game's going to go long. We may go a little long, which means that we're probably not starting until after 3. And each game is supposed to take about 2 hours and some change, under 2 if they're going really well, but all the commercials too. So I'm guessing 5:15 is going to be that. That's what it's set at. But just know, whatever the time says, it's whatever the game ends. We start right then. Pop in if you can. It'll be a great conversation, win or lose. We love it. Terry says, ironically, it was Virginia who lost to a 16 seed in 2018, and then got the bull crap double dribble call the next season. It still stings. I don't get stuff wrong all the time. Just sometimes. Good, being a good sport, Reese. Thank you, sir. Not a lot of people are, especially the people that come from TikTok sometimes. And I'm not saying, I don't know if you did or not, but sometimes I've learned over there, they got very thin skins. WT says, I think a lot of people have Iowa State overrated for the tourney. They will have trouble in the first round, I feel. I will say, I don't remember his name, but I see his face right now on TikTok, and I really like the way he produces his content about college basketball, the way he thinks about things. And he finally put out his bracket today, and he has Iowa State going to the Elite Eight with Auburn. I would love to see that, because I want to see that rematch, especially if they don't have their best player. But I'm like looking at him and I'm like, are you just doing this for funsies? I don't know. I don't know about that one. With their starting guard out, it could be tough. And he's their leading scorer. So there you go. Well, good. And yet another one from the TikTok. I thought that I recognized that name from TikTok, but I wasn't sure. Oh, Iowa State going too, man. Oh, did I cover the microphone? Did I cover the microphone like this? Sorry, I got a little excited. Can you tell I'm excited this year? All right, last minute comments, questions, derogatory rebuttals that are productive. Get them in now, get them in fast, get them in while it's hot before we get out of here. Good show tonight, good crowd, and good commentary all the way around. I really, not that we don't have that every week, but I really appreciate when I've got a lot of things to bounce off of from you guys. So saw we had some new faces tonight, some faces that we see from time to time. Let me encourage you guys, please do make it a habit when you can to come to Auburn Family Nights. We're trying to do it at 9 Eastern time instead of 8. It's a kind of a recent change here to give that a try for a while. Really love to do that. Invite your friends in, take part in the call-in link. This night is about you, the Auburn family. In fact, everything that we do, it's about the Auburn experience. The Auburn experience is only a real thing because of the people, the Auburn family. So I want you guys to take advantage of this night. We got so many great regulars here, some new faces tonight. It was great to see. So please do come back and hang out with us often. There I go, knocking the microphone throughout the year. I was trying to do a flourish, and it didn't work. Last minute commentary here. The only reason BYU, I'm guessing this is for Iowa State, didn't beat them to sleep is because some random kid had a legacy game and went off for 30 points in a conference tourney. I will die saying Virginia didn't get called because the NCAA saw the chance to get a title after losing to a 16 seed would build money. And hey, then there are weirder conspiracy theories out there. Free throws matter. You know it, Devin. They matter to everybody. Daniel with a great reminder to everybody. This is the first time for Auburn to be ranked number one top seed in all of this. Enjoy this, folks. This is a great time to be an Auburn fan, no matter what happens from this point. AFN, Auburn Family Night, the granddaddy is the best shows. When's the uniform boy coming back on? Clint has an open invitation. He's one of my good friends, and sometimes I'll reach out to him for some things, but he has an open invitation. When he wants to do something, we will do it together. My guess is he'll probably want to do some stuff around football season. So we'll see. Reese says, definitely going to make it a habit and try and catch these lives as much as possible. You should always catch the TikTok ones when you can, since you came from over there. But as you can see, it's a little bit different here. Not as TikTok can be a little toxic of a vibe, and I probably get a little edgy at times over there because you kind of have to match the energy. But we try to live in that family atmosphere over here. All right, you guys got a couple more things coming in, and let's round out our time. Reese says, what do you have to do to get Jackson Coyven on the live? I don't know. I feel like Jackson Coyven would do it if I could I could go to the SID and ask him, but I haven't done a lot of coaches and player, especially current ones, content because it's just not my wheelhouse. Certainly I'll do it from time to time when why am I blanking on her name? She only won the women's amateur title. Still there. No, she's not anymore. Anyway, we had her on and did an interview with her. So we do some of that from time to time when we can. WT says, when he's on, you never know what is going to happen. Clinton fits in so well the crowd. He does. He's also an instigator of you guys. Megan Schofield. Look, Austin's in the chat. Where you been, buddy? Thank you, Austin. I can always count on Austin to pick up my slack. Megan Schofield, we did that broadcast we did the interview with her, and it was a great time. Terry War Eagle, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight and being a great representative of the Auburn family and running that Auburn basketball group on Facebook. We appreciate you guys letting us contribute to it when we can. By the way, Terry, well, no, I'll DM you. Never mind. I don't need to do that here live on the air. Let's see here. Daniel says, I think the player of the year will come down to who performs better in the tournament. It could. Certainly could. I hope most of that's figured out right now. 11 years from the worst team in SEC to the number one seed. Thank you, Bruce. Can we all just give WT a round of applause? Comment of the show. Putting everything around like a round of applause. That was a great comment. Austin says, to get the bracket finished, the Twins picked Auburn versus Troy. That's tough. Tough. It would be extremely fitting to win a title 10 years after Bruce's first season. It would be 11, wouldn't it? Right? Well, I guess technically if you count when the season started, it doesn't matter. A decade past that, it doesn't matter. It's the point stands for Lake. All right, I got to get out of here, folks, because I'm going to go watch some of this game tonight. Y'all, enjoy the heck out of this. Not just because Auburn's here, not just because Auburn is the #1 overall seed for the first time ever, but because March Madness is the greatest sporting event that has ever been created. I am so jazzed up, jammed up, jelly tight to sit in my butt in my recliner for hours for the next 4 days watching college basketball and sports greatest event. You guys enjoy it. Get signed up for the brackets. Join us for our post-game show. You got a lot of things to do, folks, if you haven't caught on. But I appreciate you guys being here and hanging out with us to spend time being a part of our little family within the Auburn family. Till we talk to you again, War Eagle and beat Alabama State.